Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, Humberside police are told to improve their services, rocks on Cleethorpes Beach are removed and new homes in North East Lincolnshire. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be joined by Fred with all the latest sports news, all the news from the City of Culture. And before that, Ben Croons and Joe Gladstone blow their trombones about jazz legends in Hull. The Humberside Police Force is continuing its appeal to the public in tracking down two masked men who robbed a bank in Hull last Wednesday. The robbery was at 4:30 in the afternoon at a branch of Lloyd's Bank on Newland Avenue. The men, one of whom was holding a knife, demanded money from a cashier. Nobody was injured. Humberside Police has released CCTV images of the masked men, and Lloyd's Bank has offered a significant reward for anyone with information about them. Anyone with information is asked to call Humberside Police on 101, quoting log 392 for November the 1st. And Humberside Police requires improvement. That's the message from Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services. After a recent inspection, the Inspectorate gave Humberside Police a rating of requires improvement for the force's efficiency in keeping people safe and reducing crime. Humberside Assistant Chief Constable Scott Young welcomed the report, saying that we have worked hard to make some significant progress in the last 12 months and are pleased that the HMIC has recognised this in their report. He added, although the overall grade remains the same as last year, it's clear from the commentary how far we've come. Rocks laid at Cleethorpes Beach as part of a £1.5 million protection project have been removed. Nearly 12,000 tonnes of rock was delivered from Norway back in August to form a flood defence groin for the area. However, campaigners called for the rocks to be removed after a stretch of beach next to the groin was damaged by smaller rocks and mud. These smaller rocks have now been removed, returning the stretch of beach to its natural state. The groin's designed to maintain sand levels on the beach and to reduce the impact of waves on seawalls. Scartho Top is set to double in size thanks to a planning application for 845 new homes, now approved by North East Lincolnshire Council. The land, owned by Brocklesby Estates, will have a new school, shop, park and bus station. The plan was put together by Brocklesby Estates and Sidon Homes. The site of the new village will be on existing agricultural land and will link Meadow Drive, Fenwick Road and Springfield Road. New homes are expected to house around 2,000 people. Humber Street has won the Great Street Award. Last night, the Academy of Urbanism Awards announced the street in Hull as the winner of the award. Humber Street fought off competition from North Berwick's High Street in Scotland and Birmingham's Smallbrook Queensway. The Academy of Urbanism is an independent organisation that recognises significant places in the UK, Europe and beyond. Hull City Council portfolio holder for economic investment, regeneration and planning, Councillor Martin Mancy, said Humber Street is a vibrant and thoughtful refurbishment with many commercial and social benefits, and it's fantastic to see that this has been recognised. Scunthorpe Library is set to be refurbished. Work will commence on Monday the 13th of November and it'll see the library get a complete internal makeover. The £1 million project aims to make the library a community hub offering a variety of public services under one roof. It's part of North Lincolnshire Council's £60 million investment to transform the city centre. Rob Waltham, leader of North Lincolnshire Council, says the library's transformation is done with the public in mind.
You know, we will have a library, information, advice and guidance service which will be fit, for the next decade and more to come. And obviously we're investing to make sure more people can use it, creating a hub atmosphere to enabling people to go and access council services, advice on employment, training and all the other things that we know our residents really want. And I think the focus behind this investment is particularly around the community. We want to make sure that we encourage people to access employment and advice support. We want to encourage people to continue to use the library in their conventional sense. And there's all sorts of things that happens with that. There's the community benefit. We want people to be able to access information and gain advice. And there are, obviously we've got a lot of students here in North Lincolnshire. We want to encourage them to be able to use the library in the same way. But also I think it's about extending the role of the library, designing a library that's fit for the future. And as I say, lots of councils at this time are thinking about whether they should be prioritising libraries. Some are closing them. In North Lincolnshire, we absolutely believe in libraries. We want to invest in them. We want to secure better services for our residents. And investing in them is the best way to do that.
A special event highlighting the issue of men's health took place in Hull yesterday. Health professionals and expert speakers joined local community groups at the Royal Station Hotel on Ferrens Way in the hope of encouraging men to think more about their overall health and well-being. Hull NHS Clinical Commissioning Group hosted the event, which focused on providing support for men who tend to be reluctant to report health problems.
Men just tend to be far less likely to come forward if they've got any symptoms, so they tend to be late presenters. They tend to, certainly with regards to mental health, tend not to feel confident or able to open up about anything that might be an issue or be worrying them. So there are differences. There are obviously medical conditions that are pertinent purely to men's health, but then there's many conditions, chronic illnesses that are relevant to both. But we just think that it's important to give men a platform to have that opportunity to have the attention on them really and let them see what's available and what some of those issues are.
We're getting the awareness of everybody's organisation so we can all club together, work together and try and reduce a horrible statistic, which is one in, at the moment, if we look at the one of the big statistics, it's the biggest single killer in men under the age of 45 is suicide. So if we can try and eradicate that, then that'll be absolutely fantastic.
There's a wealth of information out there via various different websites, and I reckon sometimes it's probably the person closest to the man that might actually give them that nudge. And we've got women here today as well who I'm sure will be taking away a lot of valuable information, because sometimes they're the means of helping a man to access that support. But there's plenty of information out there via your GP practice, the NHS Choices website, your local CCG website, as well as your local healthcare services.
North East Lincolnshire Council has been nominated for 4 Local Government Chronicle Awards. The council has been shortlisted for Digital Council of the Year. 2 of its children's services have been shortlisted in the children's services and public health categories. Nearly 100 organisations have been shortlisted for the awards. Council Ray Oxby, leader of the council, says this is fantastic news for North East Lincolnshire, showcasing the transformation our Digital First programme is doing alongside the excellent work we do with our partners across the borough. Now, I'm joined by Ben Croons and Joe Gladstone to tell me about Hull's jazz legends. First of all, Joe's going to play for us in a moment. But first of all, Ben, what is the event coming up in Hull?
Yep, so it's next Saturday, the 18th of November, Hull Chalk Theatre. It's a concert comprising of 6 East Riding and Hull schools and their jazz orchestras and the New Civilization Orchestra.
Before we go into any further details, Joe, give us a tune on your beautiful trombone. Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was absolutely wonderful. And that was Get Happy, of course, and we associate that tune with Ella Fitzgerald?
Yes, Ella Fitzgerald. Yep.
So, what's going on? You're obviously playing, which is good. But there are how many bands or orchestras are taking part?
So there's 6 bands taking part. There's 3 from East Riding and 3 from Hull. So 2 schools from East Riding, 2 schools from Hull, and their respective music services bands.
Okay.
Exactly.
And which band are you with? Which school?
So I'm with my school, which is South Hunsley. I'm playing in their ensemble, and also I'm playing in the East Riding Jazz Orchestra.
Okay, so you're doubling up a bit there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for me.
Okay, so who's organising it?
So Tomorrow's Warriors, an education establishment in London, have organised it. It's called the Jazz Ticket, and it's celebrating the 6 giants of jazz, 6 giants.
Now, I'm going to test your memory. Can you tell me which 6 giants of jazz you're
We know this,
celebrating?
don't we? So it's Dizzy Gillespie, Ella Fitzgerald, as you've just heard, Buddy Rich, my personal favourite, Tad Dameron, Mongo Santamaria, and Thelonious Monk.
It's on the 18th, I think you said,
Yep.
of November, Hull Truck Theatre. How can people get tickets if they want to get there?
So if they contact Hull Truck Theatre directly using their box office, and tickets for adults are £12.50, £6 for under 26s.
How long have you been playing, Joe?
Oh, that's a tough question. I've been playing since year 4, so that's probably around 7 years now.
Okay. And what's the appeal of jazz? Because, frankly, I don't see it.
Well, I suppose like all the classical stuff. That's all the like basic. Well, not basic, but
That's the grand tradition.
Yeah, the grand tradition. And jazz is just an offshoot, a quirky offshoot that it's got all the.
Gives you a bit of freedom, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, freedom.
There's a bit of ad libbery. How long has it taken to organise this? It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it's been going on for a year or so, and together with Hull Music Service, I work for the East Riding Music Service. We've worked in collaboration, and working with Tomorrow's Warriors and Fish Chris, who is the education manager. Together, we've been working with the schools as well, and it's been about a year in the making.
Ben, we'll
and
have
we're
to
really
stop
excited.
there. Thank you very much. I'm sure it'll be an absolutely fantastic evening.
Lovely.
And thank you so much for that beautiful music.
Thank you.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and Fred will be here to bring us the latest from the City of Culture. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and Fred will bring us the latest news from the City of Culture. Now it's time for some big questions for little people. This week, the pupils of Dorchester Primary School in Hull tell us their favourite pantomime.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's funny. And then the mother of Jack is a dame, so it's real funny because the giant isn't actually a giant. It's just like a really funny guy that makes us all laugh. And the thing I like about a pantomime is like it's interactive and it makes you laugh.
Snow White, because in Snow White there's a good and evil, and in the end the evil gets killed but the good reigns on.
Who's your favourite character from Peter Pan?
Peter Pan.
Yeah, why do you like Peter Pan the most?
He can be pretty funny, and like the way that I don't know how to put it, like it's like 1 minute he's in a room and then next minute he's just gone, and then all there is a blare of light.
Probably Peter Pan, because if I was him, then you could fly anywhere you want, and he's just a cool character.
Yes, that was what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, if you could fly anywhere like Peter Pan, where would you go?
Dubai, because all the millionaires live there.
Peter Pan is the boy who never wanted to grow up, isn't he?
Yeah,
What's so fun about being a kid?
you don't have to pay for anything because your mum and dad will just give you the money, and you get a lot more toys for Christmas. You don't, because when you grow up you won't have as much things because you aren't a kid anymore, so you won't need anything.
If you're a kid, you don't have to pay like any of the bills. You don't need to like do any like hard stuff. But if you're a kid, you can just like play outside and do fun things.
What would you think of if you went to Neverland?
Like a big like mountain, like a volcano, like hasn't erupted yet in 8 years, and like it's got like all magical creatures and magic.
I think Neverland is a place to escape reality, calm, where fairy tales and dreams come true, wishes you can make, but there's also some bad villains there, and just don't let them get hold of magic dust.
Now I'm joined by Fred, who brings us his roundup of the latest news from the City of Culture. Fred, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Hugh. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Have you brought a trombone with you?
I'm afraid not. I've just bought myself.
Disappointing.
I know. I'm far less exciting than a trombone, I'm afraid.
What's going on in Hull?
Well, in Hull there is the last of the Look Up exhibitions. Look Up has been a series of art installations that have been taking place across the city since the beginning of City of Culture. We've now reached our final co-commission between the Deep and Hull 2017, something called Flo, Heinrich and Palmer. It sounds like a lovely, massive art installation set against the Deep itself. That's going to be happening from the 8th to the 10th of December, and, well, it's free. The time's yet to be decided, but, hey, it's free. I mean, who can complain?
You've seen a few of these look-up exhibits.
I have, yes.
For them. What are they like?
They're marvellous. They're really inventive. Something that I found when I've been chatting to the curators, Andrew Knight and Hazel Colquhoun, was how they take art out of the gallery exhibitions that you might perhaps expect art to be, and take them out deep into the city. I mean, there was one we did called Elephant in the Room, which curiously wasn't actually about an elephant. It was about this lovely, huge whale made out of paper that hangs in Prince's Quay shopping centre. I'm not sure if it's still there, but we covered it a couple months back and it was superb to look at. And hopefully this will be just as immersive an experience in bringing art, well, out from its perhaps stuffy locales and into the public for all to see.
There's nothing particularly stuffy about an art gallery, the least stuffy places that you'll ever come across. This is all about light, isn't it?
Light, I believe so, yes. It's a spectacular, well, it says it's going to be a large-scale projection event. So from the sound of it, it's going to take place at night, I believe. That sounds like the best time to actually see this event. Otherwise, how would you be able to notice
I would
it,
imagine so, Fred, yes. It's going to be a sort of Sonny Lumiere kind of thing.
Indeed.
Well, I look forward to that. That sounds fantastic.
I do too, yes.
What's next?
Well, continuing on from our installation themes, there's something called a colossal wave. That's happening from the 1st to the 10th of December.
You're obsessed with flooding, aren't you, Fred?
Well, gosh, I mean, it's such a, versatile experience. It's so good for art.
So what is a colossal wave?
This one is going to be a virtual reality experience. It's going to take place on Humber Street. It's going to be happening on weekdays from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m, on weekends from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's a co-production between the British Council and City of Culture 2017, and it's going to involve, apparently, an explosion of colour after a real ball is thrown from a great height and hits the ground to create a huge virtual wave. So it sounds like a kind of step up from this other Look Up production.
I see. So it's going to be the sort of the ripples, as it were, extending out from the impact of this ball landing.
It sounds it, yes. It should look quite effective against the backdrop of Humber Street. That's quite a long, not narrow, but long, very secure kind of streets that should lend itself very well as a canvas.
You'll have the back waves coming back from the side. It's easy to imagine, isn't it? It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I hope it's good now.
Magnificent. What's next?
Well, Hugh, I understand you play guitar, don't you?
I play. I'm unburdened by talent, but yes, I pull a few strings.
I think you'll like this one. Saxon are coming to Hull City Hall. Heavy metal legends, Saxon. They're going to be coming to Hull City Hall next February. It's part of their Thunderbolt 2018 European tour, which includes a date in Hull. You're a fan of Saxon?
I am, but I'm not the least bit surprised. Of course they're going to call their tour Thunderbolt.
What else would they be? They're that kind of band.
Exactly. Saxon's been going forever and a day, hasn't it?
They have. They were part of the country's new wave of British heavy metal movement, along with Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. So that was back in...
1066?
Almost that. It's 1977, 78, around about that time, just as punk was gripping the nation.
So they've been going for pushing 40 years.
Yes.
Time for one more, I think, if you have one.
One more. We have the Substance Film Festival. Now, you may recall we covered something.
You just better get where and when for that.
Oh, where and when. It's at View Cinema from the 1st to the 5th of December. Lots of films to check out. Have a look online. There'll be plenty to look at.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fred.
Thank
you.
As usual,
see you again next week. Here's Jack with all the sports news.
A total of 9 Hull City players are away on international duty over the next few days. Seb Larsson, David Myler and Jackson Irvine were called up for the Sweden, Republic of Ireland and Australia squads respectively for their World Cup qualifying playoffs. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Ola Aina and Nua Dicko of Mali could feature for their countries in the World Cup qualifying matches from Africa. Poland's Kamil Grosicki, Scotland's David Marshall and Norway's Marcus Henriksen are also involved in their national squads for the latest round of international friendlies. Finally, Fikayo Tomori is part of the England under-21 squad for their Euro 2019 qualifier against Ukraine tomorrow evening. Scunthorpe United are back in League One action as they host Bristol Rovers on Saturday. It's their first home game in 3 weeks, as the Iron haven't played at Clanford Park since beating Peterborough United 2-1 back on the 21st of October. Manager Graham Alexander is full of admiration for this weekend's opponents, but is also looking to continue his side's recent good form.
They're established in League One, but they should be. You know, it's a big club, and you know, they had obviously a tough time and getting relegated out of the league on the last day. But you know, Darryl done a great job getting them back at first shout and then back into League One. So yeah, we know the challenge that they've got, and they've got a good following, they've got good players, and we expect them to be a tough challenge for us on Saturday. So you know, we have to be ready for that, but you know, we want to put on a performance that they have to be ready for us.
Grimsby Town drew 1-1 with Sunderland under-23s last night before losing 7-6 on penalties, denying them the bonus point. The Mariners took the lead with just 14 minutes remaining thanks to a JJ Hooper penalty before Donald Love equalised 3 minutes later. The game then went to penalties, with Sean McAllister missing the decisive spot kick. Despite losing the penalty shootout, Mariners assistant boss Paul Wilkinson believes the game was important for certain players looking to gain extra match fitness in a competitive environment.
I think it's tough for everybody really. I mean, it's unless you actually get through to the latter stages of it, it doesn't really grab people's attention. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate because for the younger players at the bigger clubs, playing against senior players is always going to be a good experience for them, and for our boys as well. The tempo of the game last night was like a proper first team game, which, you know, is exactly what we wanted, and we got a lot out of the game.
And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. I've always said that we don't have enough trombone music on Estuary News. If you have a story for us, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv, or phone Grimsby 0147231 5553, or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, DN34 5BQ. Until tomorrow, from all of us here on the team, good evening.